Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In this video I will talk about some developments in Syria and in Yemen. We're gonna have the Israelis, we're gonna have some examples from my life with the Ceausescu's family, which I can see here how these guys are using the same garbage as they used when they toppled Ceausescu. I'm talking about the Bashar al-Assad debacle. That's the way it is, my friends. I will start by saying the America is it. We knew it when we were children. As we knew it, it was considered a country of good. The Romanians were waiting, while in the communist times, were waiting for the Americans to come and give us democracy, freedom, the American way of life, which we looked up to, even though we were, under communist, we looked up and we looked at Americans as being the liberators. That's how we looked at them. As I grew up and I experienced life and I gathered information, knowledge, the Americans lately have been hijacked, not lately, I would say about almost 50 years ago. We didn't know then in Romania. We didn't know it. Now, by reading, I understand that they were hijacked by a small group of people, alien people from the United States of America, who live in the United States of America and mostly in Europe and Middle East. So since then, when these guys really took a grip of the United States of America, they shape America as they want, and that is not good for us, the Westerners, or the Europeans, how we want to call us. Nowadays, not nowadays, in the past, let me see, 30 years, whatever America touches, fucks up, destroys. That's, I think, something that someone else also said regarding this, and that's a fact. Syria is going to be a failed state, or is going to be the same thing as Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan. And if you like that, what happened over there, then this is the product of these guys. Whatever it touches turns into garbage and more problems. I'm all for the Syrian people. I hope they find their way out of this garbage, but they are definitely under occupation. They became under occupation. Well, under occupation, maybe they will eat a little bit more or better, but they will be in a cage. They were not really like that with Bashar al-Assad, maybe, here and there. I'm not an expert on that, but I'm an expert on the Americans and that little group that I was talking about. So let me show you this first article. Relatives of Bashar Assad arrested as they tried to fly out of Lebanon, officials say. So they tried, this is Syria, they tried to, you see how this is the Golan Heights, Israel. These guys are gonna make Israel big, not again, for the first time. So I will put this I will use an example with the Ceausescu's. When Ceausescu was toppled by the same guys who toppled the regime with the help of the others, Soviets and others, toppled the regime in 1989, December. The Ceausescu family was rounded up. Oh, regardless, it was Nicu Ceausescu, it was Zoe Ceausescu, it was Ceausescu's brothers, whomever was alive, they were rounded up. And after they were rounded up, charges were brought against each and every person, bogus charges, as they did with Nicolae Ceausescu and Elena Ceausescu. And we still stand by that as the Romanian state instead of really coming out and say that was garbage, what happened to Ceausescu. He should have been, put in front of a real court and judged with real evidence, not with just hearsay evidence. So statements, allegations. So the same thing happened over there. They arrested them. They create problems for Zoe. They create problems Zoe being Nicolae Ceausescu and Elena Ceausescu's daughter, Nicu Ceausescu, one of their sons. And right now it escapes the other son who they adopted Valentin. Valentin was the other son. They had three children. First Valentin, the oldest, he was adopted, and then the other two biological children, Zoe and Nicu Ceausescu. They all thought that Nicu will be the successor. So they round these guys up and they arrested them and imprisoned them for, I don't think Zoe was imprisoned, but I know Nicu was imprisoned for, I don't know, having guns or ammunition in his house. Remember, for that. And other garbage charges. They're gonna go after I've seen this movie before as a teenager at that time, and then as a young adult. I don't know the case of Assad's family, but the same thing happened to Saddam. The same is the justice that we, remember, brought forth in 1948, 46, 48 with those Nuremberg trials, remember? The same we did with the Soviets, and I would like you, do me a favor, go and read and find the names of the prosecutors and the assistant prosecutors of the Americans and the Soviets. And you're going to find a lot of the people, one of them died maybe 2 years ago. He was 101, one young assistant prosecutor in the Nuremberg trials. They are the people who now own the United States of America, and they bring destruction and they fix things for their people in Syria area. All right, that's the first topic. The other one I will show you, which something that's is ABC 1, 2, 3. Is not something that is really a secret, and that is, according to the Russians, United States in United Kingdom intelligence services preparing terrorist attacks against Russian military bases in Syria. Now, obviously, this is coming from, I think this is for people who travel a little bit or went around the block, not even one time, just halfway. Understand that this is ABC 1, 2, 3. Only the baboons still think that, let's say, CIA is not doing things that KGB did, right? Only the baboons. They're in the same, it's like you have a stripper, but you have a stripper in America and a stripper in Russia. They are having the same niche, all right? They are in the same business. So when, oh, no, the CIA. You can watch as many movies provided you by these guys, the same guys in Hollywood, about the CIA agents looking so handsome and knowing everything with big, all right. You can watch as many as you want. Those guys are doing it for you to believe that you're good and go to bed very, very nice and have a sweet, sweet, sweet sleep. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying they're in the same business as the ones that we are supposed to hate. KGB, bad. CIA, good. Yeah, because they have to take care of the countries. They have to make sure that our country, as the Russians or Soviets, you know, the KGB had to be in charge of the, yeah, they did bad stuff. Unlike CIA, no. Okay, so yes, I think that's about to come, the terrorist attacks here against Russian military bases, and that would be obviously done with some good forces, like rebel forces, democratic forces, or who knows, we don't know who did it, but the weapons will be provided by whom? Remember, the rebels, the Kurds, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, they don't have factories. They don't have factories, military factories, let alone drone factories or missile factories or air defense systems. They don't have them. They might be sponsored by people with money who would buy with the same money from some other countries, right? Because remember, there's no Al Capone making, you know, automatic weapons, Tommies or whatever they were called. No, they bought them from the government. They made them. So when you see these guys using drones and being the good people or the bad people, according to the whatever designation they apply on these guys, or they remove, or they call, you know, rebel democratic forces or terrorists or whatever, these guys take their weapons from a government. Initially, the government makes weapons, not the guys in the Colombian jungles. They don't make guns over there. So remember, when these guys, the rebels, won in Syria, they were sponsored, trained, funded 100% by interest who make. Do you think Saudi Arabia gave them the weapons? Do you think that Pakistan gave them weapons? And then if these guys gave them weapons, who manufactures those? The Saudi Arabia's arms manufacturing companies? You're kidding me, my friends. And you say, well, maybe it's the Russians. Still, we get the same point, which is nations. So, proxy wars. And that's gonna get me to the last article here, coming from Sputnik again. Powerful explosions caused by new airstrike rock Yemeni capital. So the Jewish state in self-defense, in its holy self-defense, will fuck everybody up, and the Americans will keep everybody at bay until these guys are done with the... All right. A day earlier, the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, launched its biggest strike to date against targets across Yemen, including Sana'a International Airport and the Al-Dailami Air Base, as well as civilian infrastructure in Hodeidah province. Powerful explosions were heard in Yemeni capital Sana'a on Friday night as a result of new airstrikes, a local government source told Sputnik. One strike targeted a military technical service camp in northern Sana'a, and I will show you. Okay, another source told Russian media that strikes are being carried out on the territory of the international airport. I heard that from Romania as well. It's been reported to me. As well as military installations located within the capital and its environs. Local media confirmed that the airport has been targeted and reported multiple explosions taking place across the city. Local media indicated that the new attacks were carried out by warplanes belonging to US and the UK. With our hands, they solved their problems. Yemeni Houthis say carried out hypersonic missile strike on Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv. Again, the Houthis do not manufacture hypersonic missiles. I don't believe that's squat. All right, they get it from someone, a country. All right. What else? Again, we have here earlier Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby, spokesman, warned that the US would continue to target the Houthi until they stop targeting Israel. And who's going to stop Israel? Who's going to target Israel for stopping attacking Palestinians? Anybody? And sitting on occupied territories? Nobody, but some. All right, Israel launched a massive 100-plane attack on Yemen on Thursday. The attack included the targeting of Sana'a International Airport, So, here, Israeli Prime Minister of a state with 10 million people and about 10 million more around the globe, which is Western world, warned that Israel was just getting started. Why? Because he got this imbecile with the Pentagon, the United States of America, warned that the US would continue to target Houthis until they stop targeting our ally, who's in charge of us. Short thing, right? So Bashar al-Assad, I've seen this movie before with Ceausescu, Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, and all the bad dudes. And yeah, because the media told you they're bad, and they were bad, all right, they were bad. Okay, but our people were not bad. No. Harry Truman, who dropped 2 atomic bombs, war crime, not a bad dude whatsoever. Then Bill Clinton, who bombarded illegally Yugoslavia, war crime, not a bad dude. The guy who attacked 2 countries, destroyed 2 countries on a false lie, pretext, which is George W. Bush, you remember, Iraq and Afghanistan, all right? And then you got the guy who got the Nobel Peace Prize, Obama. Before he did anything, he destroyed Libya. Then we got this baboon right here, the semi-conscious Biden with Ukraine. I mean, and Syria. And Syria started in 2011, we supporting the democratic forces in a country that was independent and sovereign. Why were we over there? Imagine that China will support that kind of uprising in America. But some democratic forces will just decide that they will take up arms and go and change the democratically elected government or whatever government this country has. Interference, you talk? You say about the Russian election interference? Why don't you study our good boys from CIA a little bit, what they did around this fucking globe? And don't talk about countries that you get people, nations with private lives, children. So we are the good guys. Whatever these guys touch, turn into shit. Lately, at least. We can call, if you want Korean War, if you want Vietnam War, when based on another lie by the Pentagon. Gulf of Tonkin, remember? But hey, USS Liberty was fucked up by our allies, but and then you got Lyndon Johnson recalling the warplanes coming to defend the USS Liberty. And not only, I'm very familiar with that because I listened and I read from Mr. David Irwin. I know he's bad, but I don't care if you're good or bad. Is the information accurate? That's what I need. And not only that, only the bad dudes tell the truth nowadays, it seems like. And the good dudes are lying to us. Why? And they cover for them. Then you have the US intelligence and UK intelligence attacking, according to the Russians, preparing terrorist attacks against the Russian military. I'm 100% certain that it's possible, and I'm 99% certain it's probable. But it's not going to be us. It's going to be somewhere else that we pay. And then we train and we provide with everything I said. And then you got the Jewish state defending itself from these evil guys while they take more territory in self-defense to protect themselves from other countries. And then they will never give it back. Remember, is the United Nations Resolution 242 that orders Israel for about, 40 years to withdraw from some occupied territories. What happened? Bring it. Any sanctions from the United States of America? Niet. Why not? Wieso? Why? But the Russians are illegally occupying Donbass and Crimea. And we create another country in Kosovo. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So much hypocrisy, man. I have a heart attack here one day, but I don't give a fuck. I lived my life, so I'm good. But a stupid death I try to avoid, like a brick falling on my head or hit by a freaking, motorcycle or a bicycle, even worse. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.